All right. Good morning, good evening, good night, everybody out there in YouTube land. My name is Wayne, and I'm with Fishtails. And today I'm going to be tying this Chimera. And a buddy of mine, Thomas, sent it to me as a pattern that he enjoyed and couldn't find anywhere. It was an exclusive pattern. So based on the picture, I decided to tie one up, and he encouraged me to do a video. So I'm gonna do that today. So into the vise, we're going to put a size 10 5262 in and tie it on there. I like to have somewhat of a heavier nymph hook on these. It's essentially a terrestrial pattern. It's chimeras are mythical creatures that are made up of multiple. Typically, the lion and the eagle is the one that most think of. But I mean, this is kind of like the Amy's ant. If you're familiar with the Amy's ant, it could pass for a caddis. It could probably pass for a stonefly. It has some midge quality colors in it. Obviously, this is quite large for a midge. Maybe a beetle, maybe an ant. It could be a lot of different things. If you like hopper dropper rigs, then this will do nicely. All right, and I've got some Semperfli Nanosilk, 100 denier 6/0 that I'm going to be tying it with today. Special thanks to my son for holding the camera for me. I do not have a professional studio, if you couldn't tell. All right, Nanosilk is slippery, so either start with a, and excuse the sling if it comes into frame. You want to get quite a bit of it trapped in before you let go of the thread, because it is quite slippery. Right now, if I pull, okay, now it's in enough. And we're just going to go all the way back to the end of the hook shank. Try to keep it as flat as possible, so counter spin it whenever it starts to cord up. Picked up my rubber legs material. All right, and we're going to end right about where the hook barb is. And I've got a couple of pieces pre-cut of 2mm foam, and one's pink, one's black, just the colors that you can really pick any colors. It's a lot like a chubby Chernobyl or an Amy's ant. 2mm foam, and we're going to start by tying in the black. I like to lay down a base of super glue. Just helps the foam sit and not twist. Just slight touches to it. Not trying to douse it. And then press it on. Get a loose wrap on there. Start to tighten it a little bit. And then just pinch the foam as you go up. It helps that adhesive stick to it without it rotating. And then you can catch it on the way back to thin it down. All right, so for the materials, the remaining materials, we're gonna do some Peacock Ice Dubbing. Today I've got from Hairline. We have a grizzly Hackle, some bleached bull elk hair, foam as an indicator, and we're gonna start with the Hackle. Now, to get my Hackle the right length, I like it to pretty much be the hook gap. Oh, and I'm sorry, rubber legs. I like to kind of, just before I pluck it off, I also have a Hackle gauge Probably below the frame you can't see, which is okay. But if you just pull it around your hook, you can kind of see roughly where it would. And I'm going to have a little bit extra bulk. This feather actually looks like a good one. I'm going to pluck this one off. You're going to have a little bit of extra bulk from the dubbing that you're going to build. And just peel back some of these fibers. These fluffy fibers, we're just going to cut those off. And then peel back, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch, 3/16, somewhere around there. I'm not measuring. Maybe just a touch longer. I'm going to take it back all the way to the base, tying it with the inside of the feather towards the shank. And then this Nanosilk is a little slippery, so before I put this ice dub on, which is also a slippery material, I like to get a little bit of low-tack wax on here and just slightly touch it to the thread, just to give it a little bit of grip to start with. I learned this from Cheech and the guys over at Fly Fish Food. Cut the corner of this off. It helps you keep the fibers orientated correctly. Makes just for an easier tie-in, and always just pinch one direction. So right here I'm going clockwise if I was looking down on it, just holding the bottom while I rotate the top. I'll wind my way back to the bend, and I like this to look a little bit plump and juicy, so I'll grab some more, thicken it up. And I'm gonna go just a little bit more. This is just the abdomen area. Ice dubbing can be a pain to work with. Sometimes if you just hold it while you twist it, at least gets the fibers to act the way you want them to for a minute. All right, and then we're gonna wind this hackle and just palmer it up the body. Space them how you like. You can put them close together. You can put them far apart. Helps with the buoyancy. Suggests some legs. Two wraps over the top. I like to put some securing wraps in the front, then we'll just snip this off. We're gonna fold this over. I like to keep it manageable, so I'm gonna cut it to its end length, just past the eye of the hook. And a loose wrap. Hold onto that head as you pull towards yourself one more time. And then I like to jump forward maybe 1/16 of an inch or so. And that's going to want to twist the foam, so just hold it tight while you do that. And this gives you just a little bit of a base to work with, a little bit of a neck. Next, we're going to tie in the elk hair. So definitely want to get you a stacker if you don't have one. And I like to use a different set of scissors for my hair than I do for the rest of it, because you know, hair can be coarse and dull. And you just kind of got to get a feel for how much you want your wing to look like. And to me, that just looks about right. You're going to lose a little bit with some of the short furs pulling out as you clean it. You want to pinch the tips and then stroke out some of that nasty under fur. You can flick it. If you get a little toothbrush or comb or something, then you can use that just to get it out. And that just makes sure that you're not trapping anything in that isn't going to be workable for you, and unnecessarily bulking up the area. It's like throwing dubbing in it, that under fur. All right, and when I like to do this, I point the tips of the hair the direction that I'm going to be tying them on the fly, so tips of the hair are rearward. That way I can just grab them, and I want to measure, I want it to just be slightly over the back of the abdomen, so about right there. I'm going to pinch that spot, and just a little bit in front of it I'm going to make a mess and cut it flush. And I'm going to clockwise spin it to cord it up into a pinch wrap. If you're not familiar with that, you bring the thread up in between your fingers, you pinch the thread, and as you pull down, it catches the material. I'm going to do a second wrap over it and then pull towards me, and you can see that kind of flare up. You want to wrap in between and pull again, and that just helps you lock that hair in so that it's not going to go anywhere. All right, and then now I'm going to get the little indicator foam. You don't have to do this. This just helps you see it when it's on the water. I like to make it a little bit thinner than the actual profile of the overbody, and from just behind the tip of the head to about maybe 2/3 up the wing. That's about right. Whatever looks right to you. As with anything in fly tying, there's no real rules. And same thing that I did on the black overbody. I'm going to catch it and make a little bit of a band, trying to keep this oriented while I do that. And then the rubber legs, it's going to be roughly the size of the body. I'm going to make it just a little bit more, fold it over in half and trim it. The rear legs are going to be longer than the front, but you can play with it once you get them tied in. 2 wraps. You just grab that and you pull it on over. You want them about the middle of the bug, about right there. And we're going to add a little bit more of this Peacock Ice Dub over here over the thread wraps, and then a little bit kind of suggesting a thorax. I've always been of the mindset less is better. You don't have to take as much off. So if you see me adding more than you normally would, that's okay. Do it how you like. All right, and then from here, I'm going to peel this back and pull back to kind of jam it under the foam. This ice dub doesn't want to play well today. And that's about where I want it. I'm gonna go ahead and snip this excess off. Do one more wrap, and then close around the head. I like to do a wet whip finish, but I also use a whip finishing tool. So wet whip finish, you just put a little bit of super glue on the thread. Pull this back. And what that does is it gets that super glue in there without you having to dab it and make a mess everywhere and harden up all the materials. So just a Mattarelli style whip finisher. I've got the end sharpened to be able to cut the thread when I'm done. And make your backwards 4. 5-turn whip finish. Pull the thread tight to get some tension. Just push. And from here, get your rubber legs oriented again. And I like them about even with, looks like my head's not quite straight. Let's straighten it out. Knock off the corners. Don't have to, I just think it makes it look a little bit more like a head. And then I'm not gonna stretch them forward, but I wanna push them forward. And about like that. And the same for the rear, I don't wanna stretch them. This one's a little bit more challenging to do this without stretching them. And about even with the wing is where I like it. And there you have it. This is your Chimera. Fishes just like an Amy's ant or a chubby Chernobyl. Maybe not as visible as a chubby, but gives the fish a different look. I'm sure they see tons of chubbies. Not sure how many folks are out there still using Amy's ants. I love them. But yeah, give this a try. Go tie some up. Give this video a like. And I'm just getting started. Obviously, this is my first video, so give me a subscribe if you want to see more content like this as it comes out. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you don't miss an episode. All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.